What's going on, everyone? Slovosh here, bringing you some more Ultron on the test center. Today is June 21st, and Ultron just got his first patch, and I wanted to go over a ranged build for Ultron. Earlier this week, I did a physical build for Ultron without summons, and now I want to show you guys probably a more optimal build for Ultron using ranged skills and his blade drone summons. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it, guys. I want to show you a few things that have gotten an update for this kit that I'm using. First off, precise beams. This just basically got buffed to where it has a longer target range, so you can hit things from a way farther distance. I've already destroyed a ton of these targets, but if I click this target, you'll see what range he can hit from. So that's just about outside of the room. He can target guys from that far away, and that shoots a piercing beam all the way through. So this makes a very good, like, basic attack, if you will. Also, right now, this build that I'm using, it could be spirit intensive, maybe not. I'm not 100% sure how much it will actually use, because right now there's infinite spirit, or power in this case, on the test center, so we'll see how they rebalance the costs of all these moves. But precise beams, that was one of the things that got an update. Let's see, Encephalo Beam, this is probably Ultron's most iconic move in my opinion. This move is a cone AoE damage and confusion move. Before, if you were looking up here from the center of this shield emblem, the cone would probably go from his feet out to here and just to the edge of, like, where the bricks meet the metal here or something. So it was a very small cone damage. Now if I hover over the skill, you'll be able to see how much wider it really is. And this is starting to get into the ranges of, like, where optic devastation for Cyclops hits. This move will literally coat the whole screen in damage and confusion. So this just got significantly better, especially for summoning ranged builds, because now you can stay back on the back lines, make guys attack each other, and pour out some serious damage. So it is not to be fucked with. This is definitely going in my kit for this energy build with summons. Energy overload, this is my right click. This is basically like the Kamehameha wave from Dragon Ball Z. I love the animation, even though in the patch notes it states that they're reworking it. I think he, like, charges it up and shoots it out. But right now it has a beam width that's been tripled. So basically the amount of targets in a straight line. So say this straight line of bricks right here was where I'm aiming. It now will go a little bit thicker to the left and right of that. So any guys that stagger off of that straight line that it shoots in, they'll now take damage too. And you can see it goes pretty damn far. I'm not sure if the damage applies all the way out here, but it might. So we'll test that. I'm going to do some Cosmic Midtown gameplay with this build here in a second, and I'll show you how I've basically made every boss a fucking joke with Ultron. So this is probably something else they'll have to address. Everyone's been talking about his summons and how they die too easy, but I'll show you a little shortcut that I used. So that's in my kit as my right click. It's awesome for just applying damage from a distance and piercing again. So most of his kit has piercing, pierces through enemies, pierces through enemies, pierces through enemies. Operation Swarm, this is a single target move. This basically will laser beam a single guy, and then all of your drones will go attack that guy. That's what the animation looks like. So basically it just does one little pop and it'll go over to him, and all your drones will go attack that guy. But when you're using this specialization, which is Rage of Ultron, Operation Swarm is always a critical hit. And this is our specialization of choice for this build. I know it's the summoning one. However, this is the most... This is the best specialization right now until they buff Reactor Overcharge and Gravity Matrix. This just outweighs the other two by a long shot. Not only does this allow you to have 8 drones at one time without them dying or having to be resummoned, like they're not on a timer essentially is what I mean, Normally you only have 6. Normally they're on a timer, and normally they cost bandwidth, so you can't use too many things at once. Not only does this skill allow your Ultron Prime passive, which is a huge steroid buff, to now pass on to all of your summons, which in itself is probably worth the specialization because your summons gain all that critical damage, all that brutal damage, and, you know, it just makes their damage numbers go out the fucking roof. Operation Swarm, which is a single target like attack. This is always a critical, so that means it can either be a brutal, like really quick, and then also this is the real kicker of this specialization, is that you summon 8 drones. They stay alive until they're destroyed or detonated, which you're not going to detonate them, and then they no longer reserve bandwidth. So that means I can use Operation Repair now. So on my second bar, I got Operation Repair. You can see right now I'd only be able to actually summon 1 drone, right? With any other build, I'd only be able to summon 1 drone. But with this build, you can summon 8. What the fuck? That's just insane. So we're using this specialization. We are maxing blade drones. This is another thing I don't get right now. They hopefully will patch this shit. This blade drone has more health and more damage than the other 2 drones, like combined, almost. This drone is like your basic taunting meat shield kind of drone. This only has 96% of your health and 70 damage reduction. This has 416 of your health and 70 damage reduction, but it doesn't taunt. But they also do so much damage. And these range drones, I don't know why it's not showing me anything, but basically these have somewhere in between these 2 on the amount of health scaling that they get. And they do range damage, and I've heard it's pretty good damage, but blade drones for a range build, you want a melee guy to go up and get in the enemy's face so that they're not penetrating back to where you are. So this is the drone of choice. It's kind of a no-brainer. They have the most health and do extremely good damage, and you can have 8 of them. We're also doing 20 points into Ultron, or We Are Ultron. This is his signature. This is another thing that got buffed. Right now, I probably won't be able to show you what it looks like because it's super, super buggy on this version of the test center. It's supposed to summon 2 fields now of Ultron heads, and they're supposed to move to targets. So let me see if it'll do it. It's not, like half the time it's not casting, and then if it does, it just poofs. I don't know. So that's a bug, but when it does work, it literally, the amount of heads that you saw before, it will have 2 fields of those. So it'll be like 1 field, and then if there were guys like over here, they would move over to them, and if they were up here, they'd move that way after those guys are dead. And it's lasting for a really long time. So there's something seriously wrong with this, but it seems like they want to make it much stronger. So that's a great thing for Ultron, because his signature is on a really short cooldown, so that makes it fucking tits. I think they're changing some of other animations, like his flight animation and stuff. I'm not going to go into that. I want to get right into the build, guys. I've basically already outlined what we're doing. So we're using Operation Repair, and we're using Rage of Ultron. We'll have 2 bars of bandwidth left, but we have 8 summons. And basically what we're going to be doing most of the time is we're going to be doing our basic attack. This animation will change too, is what I've heard, to be more direct lines, I would imagine. Probably something similar to like Doom or his basic. His dash also got a buff. You can see how much faster you can teleport around with him, or not teleport, but dash around with him. So basically we're going to be clicking on guys from a range, letting our drones go up and attack. We're going to be applying Encephalo Beam on cooldown. We'll also be finding the beefiest target, so say it's a boss in Cosmic Midtown, we'll be targeting him with the Swarm. It won't let me because I have to be clicking on something. If it will let me, I'll drop the We Are Ultron signature, but it's not likely. And then basically you're just going to be keep on popping Ultron Prime as soon as you can, as well as Energy Overload. Basically you're just rocking all of your skills or spamming them as they come off of cooldown. And let me show you a little trick that I've been doing with Ultron. If you're changing zones, this is the easiest way that I've figured to do this. If you get I think they call it the magic bug. It's where like you lose your bandwidth permanently because you zoned out. I like to take off my specialization, put it back on, and then go to where I'm going to go. This helps me. So we're going to Cosmic Midtown. I want to show off this build a little bit and how I've been able to basically tank some bosses. So there's another Ultron. So you can see I'm already down 2 bars here. Let's see if I undo this. Okay. There we go. So as we turn on Operation Repair, it drops the bandwidth down. This can get glitched sometimes. Like I said, just take your signature off, put it back, or your specialization off, and put it back on, and that will reset your bars here. So what we're gonna rock is we're gonna rock 8 blade drones. We're gonna go out here. Let's fight like Crossbones or something. I like to click lock them with the signature or the left click, hit him with the ranged moves. Give my Ultron buff to all my guys. Just getting shredded. And then every so often, and especially if you're standing on the back line of the bosses, this is what I like to do. Let me clear out some of these guys real quick. So as you're standing back here, pouring on your DPS numbers, let's see if I can get the signature to go. There it goes. So you can see the 2 different waves and how they're kind of targeting guys. Last for entirely too long. So what I like to do, and this is maybe something that a lot of people aren't doing right now, is if you're Ultron, you can summon these drones basically free. So as you're standing back here, just keep spamming the S button in between your cooldowns, and it will keep the drones over there, because the drones come into wherever you are aimed with your mouse. So if I summon over here or over here, whenever one dies, it will go that direction. But basically you can hold that click lock on a guy, you can keep spamming S, do your cooldown moves, make sure your guys have Ultron Prime going on them, and then basically just click lock, stay in the background, and then just keep spamming S if you want. So as soon as one of your boss or your drones die, it instantly is coming back in with another one. Let's go ahead and hit all these dudes with Encephalo Beam. Kamehameha. See if we can get it to go. There we go. Watch, it should move once these guys die. Of course, I'm fighting Tromeo though. So see how I just summoned all those guys over in that direction to kind of cut off where these guys were coming at me from. So that's one of the ways I've been really working Ultron a little bit better than most, I guess, other players. I don't know if everyone's aware of that, but you basically can spam the drone to where you want it, which once you're click locked and you're doing your cooldowns, which, you know, you should have quite a few powerful cooldown skills in your kit, I would imagine. Basically, you can just keep summoning the drones to go to where you want, and you can stay in the back line and keep fucking people up from back here. Especially now that he's got more range on his kit. Let's see if we can get that signature to go out. Yeah, it's glitched. But see, this is where you hit them with the Swarm, Ultron, Prime. Just keep your drones up in the middle. And then you're able to just pretty much make quick work of any boss by just see how I'm just summoning the drones in right on top of her. And just staying back here, doing my cycle. Yeah, I got another one coming in, 2 coming in. So as soon as one goes away, they're basically free. You can just drop them right on top of her. That has been making bosses a fucking joke. We'll see how things turn out when it hits the live servers, but with that being an option to just stand in the background, that's probably what I would do for real. Like if I were playing on live, is I would just stand back here and just keep my drones buffed up and just be pouring on the damage from a distance and keep my drones right where I want them in that mix up there. Taking out these stragglers over here. I really wish my signature would come in and hurt some people. So we're just going to keep bringing in guys right on top of them. Get them buffed up. Get this dude out of here. So you can see how he can't even get to me if he wanted to. Let's see if I can get the signature to call in. Of course, it comes in right as he dies. Let's see if it moves people. It's supposed to move over there. There it goes. Maybe it is hitting him over there. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, guys, that's the build. I hope you enjoyed it. With Ultron's blade drones being as good as they are, his specialization of Rage of Ultron is really far superior to the other ones. And right now, ranged is pretty much a cakewalk. I can imagine quite a bit of people doing this. This is pretty much, I would say, like Doctor Doom-like at this point. So it kind of stinks, but at the same time, until they make these other two specializations where you don't use summons much better, it is what it is. I'm sure they'll get there. They just have stated on the forums that he's actually not coming out this week. He will be delayed until next week, so that means sometime in the 28th or something like that. That's when he'll be coming out, I would imagine. So we'll see where he turns out, guys. I'll keep you posted on updates as they come out, and anything special with Ultron, we'll cover it. If you guys liked the video, leave a thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time.